thankful for. Hey, Aubrey, how you
Studying?
doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Good. That's awesome.
I'm praying that my Wi-Fi holds up.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's been we're in we have a little timeshare in Las Vegas, and so the
Oh,
basically a hotel room, and yeah, the internet's been like really like up and down, connecting me, disconnecting me.
oh
So
man.
we'll see.
That's rough.
Yeah,
That's nice. You've got a timeshare though. That's fun.
yeah, it's fun. It's nice, and we can exchange it through points and go somewhere else. Went to Dominican Republic and exchange points there, and it's fun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. Janet and Jason the man. How's it going, man?
Good, good.
Love it. Oh man. And the Janet, how are we doing?
Great, how are you?
Fantastic.
Hey, I need to pay for the course. The 7-day free trial has ended, so
Okay.
all I could see when I first signed up was to do the free trial.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I go on and pay?
Did it ask when you started? Didn't it ask for like a your credit or debit card, something
I
along
know
those
it
lines?
does have my card on file. It is on there.
So it'll charge automatically.
Oh, great.
End of
Okay,
the trial.
perfect.
Yeah.
Good.
Great question. I'm sure other people had the same thing. So now what do I do? Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you. It's great. I'm glad you're finally able to join this one. So it's great. I love it. Okay. Oh, come on, computer. You can do this. All right. Hmm. So Wednesdays um is money making Wednesday. Well, every day should be money making. Money making fill in the blank, right? Um, but on the calls it's money making Wednesdays. And so what we do on Wednesdays, and we're not gonna do that today, but we're gonna, introduce it and then do maybe some role playing things like that. So with money making Wednesdays, it's all about making money and holding each other accountable. So on days like today, what we do is everyone would come on, make sure you're on camera. And what we would do is doing MMAs. So whether that's maybe making cold calls, you're calling agents maybe, or you're talking to title companies trying to get some, get referrals from that way, or whatever money making activity. I remember Laura, because she was working during the time, so she would just send text messages during that time, like to all of her list, and just talk to people back and forth that way, which is great. That's still MMA, whether it's like a phone call, text message, letter, email, knock on the door. It's all communicating with another human being, so it all counts. Um, so how this works is that we would all jump on the cameras, turn it on, everyone's on mute, and we are going for a couple goals. We're going for the most no's. Who can get the most no's is the winner. So we're tracking the no's and obviously appointments and any successes is always nice, right? But that's the goal right now, is just to get the most no's. And when we get the most no's, or excuse me, when we do get a no, who can say? I mean, probably most of all of you guys can do it. But you guys remember my most favorite word in real estate? What's my most favorite word in real estate? Who's willing to come on?
Next.
There you are. Perfect. And so and it's not just next, but it's next. You gotta scream it out. Um, I love it. He made a GIF of me screaming next and yeah, I was like, that's awesome. That's so cool. Just repeating me saying next, next, next. So, but when we get a no, you come off mute and then you scream next, and then go back on mute and make the next call. So we're calling, holding each other accountable, and then we are still we are used it a few times too. I love it. Lost my whole train of thought. anyways, yes. So yeah, and then come off mute and yell next, and then go back on mute and still make calls. It's really it's fun because the more next you hear, like it feel it fills the room with more energy, and it's a lot of fun. It's like you're having phone calls and you hear next, next, next. It's fun. So that's basics of it, right? It's pretty simple. Um, but I did want to go over some door knocking, go over the scripts, and then break us up into rooms. Or there's not a ton of us here today, which is okay. But maybe we can do it just on one room, or maybe we'll do two. Probably do two rooms, or yeah, because we have iPhone. Is that you, Sal? Are you the iPhone, or who's iPhone, or is that Courtney? Either one, their mute button's broken, so it's okay. Well, that's what you get for having an iPhone. I'm just saying. Anyways, I'm just teasing. But yeah, we'll get that worked out. But I want to talk over. Does anybody have any questions first of all? Because I think all of you have heard, yes, my training on cold calling, and I think we've even gone over the script before. I think with everyone here actually. But what questions do we have? We'll go over it again too. Rufus, okay. All right, okay, awesome. So we'll go into details for you, Rufus. It's the first time you've heard any type of training on the cold calling, unless you watched it in the back room in the class, because there's a whole section of cold calling. What questions do you guys have about cold calling in general? Is it just like, or we can go over the script real quick? Well, we'll still do that, but yeah, what questions do you guys have? Nothing?
I don't have any.
All right, cool. So I'm not going to go too deep into it with using stammering-old-man and things like that, but I think we want to get it as simple as possible. Now, here's the what people have a hard time believing at first, at least, is you don't want to be smooth. You don't want to be polished. The more rough around the edges, the better. And that sounds so crazy, but when you think about it, okay, so when we're calling these people that have some challenges, they have a vacant home that's been vacant for years. They're going through foreclosure. And so they're constantly getting phone calls of other salespeople, or they're getting constantly just getting, bombarded with stuff like this. So the beauty of what we're kind of going over here is the goal is to not to sound anything other than a salesman, right? So how the salesman and we all they all sound the same. And let me ask you, so if when you guys think of a salesperson, where are they at as far as like status wise? When you get a call from a salesperson, where are they on as far as status? Are they low status or like high status as far as like what you're considering them? Or what's the average person consider that, better said?
Definitely low.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, absolutely. So it's low status, right? And so when you call and you just sound like just a salesperson, one, they instantly put you in a box. Oh yeah, that's a salesperson. That's one trying to steal equity from my home or whatever store that they have. You know, someone's coming in and they just knock on your door and you're instantly like, okay, what are they trying to sell? What is it? What do we, what are they trying to get out of me? And so when we have it, when you're don't sound like a salesperson, and you, as far as they're concerned, you could be like their neighbor across the street, Um, so the less polished you are, the better it actually is. So perfectionism is your work is the enemy of all progress. Just think of that. Like as what I find a lot of people what they use as a tool, and 99% of the time they don't even realize they're doing it, but they're using like, well, I just I don't have the script down yet, or I'm not very charismatic on the phone. I don't feel comfortable making that phone call until I get there. Well, you're never going to get better using the script, or never going to get better at making phone calls until you actually do it, and just push through. Like lean into the suck, knowing that first you're gonna suck, and it's actually a good thing. I had a friend of mine, Tyler Tyson, and he was killing it when he first got into real estate. He was absolutely killing it. And then he had like a teeter off where like he was getting appointments, he was closing deals, and then like it was like nothing, crickets. And he's a very analytical person, so but good for him. And after talking to him, what it was is like he kind of got caught up in things when he was first starting out. He made those mistakes. Had those so he had it was a really challenge for him to make those calls, but he still did it. And so they weren't polished, they weren't good, and so he was breaking through the barriers. And then when he got some success, then he really was kind of okay. So now I'm at this level. I need to have my cold calling skills at that level too. And so he just kind of over analyzed and ended up not making as many calls as he did because it wasn't as good as you think it should have, even though he was having success with it before. And so he got too so much in his head that he kind of the success tapered off. That's why like when you get beginner's luck, a big chunk of it is because you don't know what you're doing and you don't sound like it too. So people are going to listen to you more because they're curious. You're building intrigue just by not being 100% polished because they don't know what box to put you in. So they have to make a new one just for you. And that's when they actually listen and pay attention to you. So that's just a long way of saying, don't worry if you're not perfect because you won't be and you don't want to be. Okay. You're going to have lots of mistakes. You're going to mess up a bunch, and that's perfectly fine. And I tell you, like, I wish I recorded my first couple calls because they were terrible, like god awful, terrible. It was just the worst ever. But it was good. I'm glad I still went through it. I knew and when I first started, I knew I was gonna suck. I knew it. There was no like delusion in my mind. I knew that I was gonna call and I was not gonna be great at it. But I still did it anyways because I knew that's the only way for me to get great at it, to get better at it, to improve my and to find the deals, right? I'm not gonna find a deal sitting at home wishing and wishing and just working on this one script. It doesn't, it's just not gonna happen. Okay, so let me share my screen real fast, and then we'll go over the script, and then I'm gonna break you guys up and do some practicing. Okay, sound good? So in how I view scripts in general, I believe they should be more of like a bullet point scenario, not so much word for word. So this is a general idea. This is the script I give my VAs when I have VAs to make calls. So one time I had what was the most I've had? I probably had like 5 VAs at one point in time, and they were making phone calls for me, and 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 they were from the Philippines too, and so it was really hard for because they had that accent. Um, so at that point, it was like kind of like just talk to everyone. Like I just kept on giving them list and list and list, until they get set an appointment. But this is the same one, and make it your own. Edit it, make a copy of it first, then obviously edit it, do what you want to do. Oh, let me hang on, share this. This is also in the community in the back room, the back office. Okay, copy that link, and then you guys are gonna make your own copy. There it is. Come on, chat, open up. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So there's a link to get to this document, guys. Okay. And it's also in the back office in the classrooms. All right. Now, I'm going to go over it real quick, and then we'll kind of explain why they're there and why we do certain things. Because if you understand the concept of it, you can make it your own. Like you may not start the conversation like this exactly because it doesn't really fit your personality. Fine, no problem. Find something that makes sense, but understand the concept, not the word for word. That's what we're looking for here. Okay. So, hello, Mr. Seller. If I'm calling, if it's a man, if I'm looking for a man like John Smith, and I call this number and I go, hey, hello, and okay, I'm assuming it's John. Like, hey, John. If it's just a woman, and I'm looking for a man, then I'm gonna say, yeah, I mean, are you? I was looking for John. Is John there? I mean, are you his spouse maybe? And and by the way, there's something called a stammering old man, which the stammering old man is just being really really confused. And dude, it is so good. It breaks through so many walls. It sounds counterintuitive, or it does sound counterintuitive, but it's so true. Like having lots of ums and just being really really confused. Oh, it just breaks down walls a, I haven't seen anything better to break down walls than this stammering old man or stammering old lady for uh for half of you, right? So hello, Mr. Seller. My name is Jared. I was calling by your address 123 Fake Street. Me and my wife, I guess it's my wife and I, but whatever, grammar. My wife and I, you say partner, and now why would I say my wife and I or my family and I? Because again, if you're a single person, like my family and I, maybe it's family one. I don't know. Maybe your spouse isn't very involved, but I'm sure they would be totally happy spending the money you make off the deal, right? So yeah, your wife and I, your spouse, your husband and I, your or whatever my family and I are looking, whatever you want to put in there, it's fine. Or even say partner, it's totally fine. Um, so we're looking to buy a property in that neighborhood. Neighborhood, that's the word. It's fine. I'm looking to buy a property in your neighborhood. Have you ever thought about selling? That's it. I mean, that gets us to the point. That gets us to the conversation. Have you ever thought about selling? We're not, there's nothing fancy you need to put into it. There's nothing, it's just literally like, have you ever thought about selling? Like, that's it. And whatever they say, if it's a yes or no, whatever it is, oh, really? Why is that? So, like, oh, yeah, no, no, we're not looking to sell. Like, oh, like, yeah, I'm just curious. Why is that? Or, yes, I actually am looking to sell. Oh, that's good news. I mean, if you don't mind me asking, why would you be looking to sell this beautiful property? And whenever you're talking to sellers, it's a pendulum effect. So if you say this property is old and ugly, they're gonna say, well, no, I've lived here for 20 years. It's not perfect, but it actually looks really good. If I say, why'd you sell this beautiful property and things, I said it inside a hoarder house where like there are walls and stacks because in their mind that's and they just cleaned it, which means that it's cleared a pathway. The pathway doesn't have any bird poop or any bird poop, any cat poop in it, so that's a clean house. And in their minds, it is clean. So so I do the pendulum effect. So if I want them to go this way, I need to go this other direction, start, and they'll correct me to where I want them to go. So like, why would you want to sell this beautiful house? Well, actually, yeah, I don't know if I'd call it beautiful. Yeah, look at that. We still have there's some of that mildew over there. This is they'll instantly like go the opposite direction of what you originally state. It's the same thing Richard Stock says. If you say it, it's wrong. If they say it, it's right. So you want them to say those things. Okay. Anyways, that's a little bit of distraction, but it's the same concept. This is why we want to say why would you want to sell? Now they are like, oh, you want to sell? Well, why would you want to sell? Find out the why is the most important part of this entire process for negotiating, for setting an appointment, everything. And I should have started this off with the only goal you're going to have when you're making a phone call is to set an appointment. That's it. You don't need to do any type of negotiate or excuse me, a deal analysis beforehand. And by the way, if you guys are doing deal analysis before you make any phone calls, the biggest waste of time in real estate history is analysis paralysis and just analyzing deals. and I'm saying this because I've done this. I fell for this, where I would analyze. I found a big old folder one time, and it was just like of when I first started, and I had like printed like comps, and I printed just like details about the house, who the seller, and this is stuff that there's just so many people, so much research I did on each of these houses, and I never talked to any of those people. I spent hours and hours and hours analyzing the deal because I wanted to don't know what to say when I call them, but I just wasted all that time because I never had any conversation with them. So when you're making cold calls, you don't need to know what you can buy the property for at that time. You don't need to. You don't want to at this point, really. Now, if you when you guys hear me make phone calls, like I will go into that because I can get to it pretty quick. But for your guys' purposes right now, for like the newer cold caller, you don't. It's just set the appointment. That's it. Set the appointment, and then after you set the appointment, between now and that appointment, that's when you can do your deal analysis. Okay, how much should I offer? And then we'll go into like how to do deal analysis and all that stuff here. But worry about step one. No worry about step five. That's another key point of just being in the games or having success. It's just we're not going to worry about way out there. We are just here. We are here present, and then we're going to worry about the next step, not 20 steps ahead. Okay? So whatever they're saying, they're going to why. And a lot of times, the first time they give you their why they're looking to sell, it's not always 100% accurate. Okay? They can give you a little bit different information sometimes. But yeah, it gives you a rough idea, the first call, which is okay. And then and just there's a couple techniques which is going to be good for negotiations and in the calls. If you want them to expand a little bit on this, you want to at very least show some active listening, which is rephrasing what the seller said. And this is a very powerful technique because just an example. So I was a Walmart manager for 12 years. And I swear to you, every time there was a conflict with a customer or a conflict with an associate, they would always send me. And I mean, I think I know why now, but then I was just very like salty about it. Like, why I got to deal with this crap? Anyways, but the thing was like, there was like angry customers that would just flip out for whatever, sometimes very justified, sometimes not. And I'm not going to judge that right now, but just saying there was on all sides of the spectrums, right? And even the stuff like I maybe couldn't fix, it's just whatever the challenge was. I would always listen to them, and I would say, uh-huh, and I would like nod as like I'm listening, and I would let them just go. I would let them express themselves, and then I would rephrase. I would actively listen. I would rephrase what they told me so that I understood, even though I may not agree with it. I may not I may not have anything I may not be anything I can do to fix it or something because maybe it's really about something that they're going through. And but I tell you what, like 9 times out of 10, just doing that resolved most of the challenges because they felt heard. And when you're angry and frustrated, you a lot of the frustrations is you don't feel whole. You feel it's something unjustified happened, and I don't feel heard. And so that's where a lot of frustration, and I'm saying it in a calm, clear voice. I'm like, yes, like, yeah, I feel for you. I understand this happened. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, there's not much we can do because of blah, blah, blah. And then a lot of times that would calm them down. Like they weren't like super excited about it, but that, and obviously if I could fix it, then I would fix it. Most of the time we would be able to do something to fix it, but I'm saying like, even doesn't matter the case. So rephrasing what they said. So why would they want to sell? Like, and you can just rephrase it, try to use their words as much as possible. So if they're using adjectives as in like disappointing, and maybe your natural word is like, frustrated, or whatever, you want to use what they're saying. Okay. Another thing is to repeat the last 3 words of what they said. So yeah, to get more information. So for an example, it's like, oh, so if they just said they just lost their job and that's why they're looking to sell, And I want them to go a little deeper into that. Again, this may not be the first call, but this is just to give you the concept of these techniques. I would repeat that. It's like, oh, you lost your job? And then I shut up and let them talk, and they'll talk more. They'll fill in the blanks. The awkward silence is your best friend always. Is your best friend. Because when you're talking and negotiating and you're quiet, then they will feel they're obligated to fill in the quietness. So if you are maybe not as talkative person, you have a superpower. People will tell you more things than they will me. And so I have to consciously, actively work these strategies out because I sometimes I just don't shut up. And ask anyone that knows me more than on a personal level, they'll tell you that's the truth, right? So this is phenomenal. It's gonna be really, really good to use those strategies, techniques. It's just repeating the last 3 words or the last keywords that they said. Um, there was a gamer. She's amazing. I love her. So she was using this on her husband, and this is techniques we need to practice at home in regular, like practice your homework. One of the homework assignment is you're going to practice active listening, which is like when someone's talking to you, you will rephrase what they just said and then continue the conversation. Tell me that person's not more engaged with you, or if there is a conflict, that problem doesn't get resolved 10 times faster than you would normally. Like I'm excited to see. Or but so the gal that was using this, like her husband's very stoic and not super talkative. She would just use the last 3 words that he said, or last 3 important words, or last couple important words that he said, and he would just give out so much more information to her. He would open up more. It's like, this is awesome. This is amazing. So practice those things. So now we know the why. And this is, would you be opposed if my partner and I gave you a fair market offer? Okay. And the concept of would you be opposed? What answer am I looking for, everybody? Would you be opposed if blank? What type of question is that? What answer am I looking for?
No.
No, exactly. I'm looking for a no. I want them to say no. When you're in a sales position, or as far as the seller is concerned, they just the ability to say no. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to it if you give me an offer. I wouldn't be opposed to it. It's, by the way, gentlemen, if when you have your significant other, girlfriend, wife, whatever, and they get the classic, I don't know what to eat. I'm good with anything. Whatever you want's fine. And then you start saying, okay, how about McDonald's? I don't want McDonald's. What about Olive Garden? I don't want Olive Garden. Whatever. And they tell you that they don't care where they eat, but they're saying no to everything you're saying. It's obviously there, but that's the whole thing. You just say, would you oppose if we went to Applebee's? Well, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Like, okay, great, let's go. That's a little secret sauce for you guys. Tell you what, have your dinner nights so much easier. So, would you be opposed? Would it be crazy if we're asking? So this is where I find a lot of people change, because it's just, this is, you can change these words, sure, but you want it a no oriented question where the answer you're looking for is a no. Giving them the the freedom to say no gives them the freedom also to say yes, because they when someone says no, they feel more control. Okay. Would you be opposed if my partner and I gave you a fair market offer? And this is like, we're 3 questions in. That's it. Let's cut the BS. Let's get right to it. Like, you find out how much they're, and you just listening to them and active listening, that build rapport stuff, you're doing it right now. You're in it. You don't need to talk about the sports, the weather. Everyone knows when a salesperson is talking to me about the weather, about my favorite sports team or whatever, or whatever they're trying to connect to build rapport, we know what they're doing. Everyone knows what they're doing. Don't waste your time. It's the stupidest thing ever. But if someone's listening to me and they're asking questions about me, my personal life, I'm able to talk and communicate, I will remember how it made me feel, not what the questions that they asked me. And just talking about yourself makes you feel good regardless. I'm saying it really, there's studies and everything. Like they are more positive. They have more because it made them feel good, even though they didn't really have a deep interaction with that person, but they remember how that felt, and so they contribute that goodness to the person they're talking to. Okay, so this is just one. This is one way. This is just straight up. Hey, would you be opposed if my partner and I gave you a farm market offer, or maybe because depending what you set up here, right? Maybe it's not your partner. Maybe it's like your missus or whatever. If you want me to come in and help too, then you say partner, no problem. Um, this is called a binary close. Would tomorrow at 5 work or 8 p.m. better? So we're giving two options. That's it. Uh, another one, would it be crazy if I came at 5 p.m. tomorrow to give you that offer? Okay. So again, this is a no-oriented question, and it's a singular time. And on this mindset is like, because who's the prize here? Are we the prize or are they the prize? Who has the challenge? Another way to think of it. Do they have the challenge or do we have the challenge?
They have the challenge.
They have the challenge, right? We can fix their problem. If they don't want to sell their house, that's fine. There's someone else that will. That's abundance mindset. It's be disattached to the results. So in reality, when we are the prize, and that's how we talk, because again, like the salesperson, the status is a lot lower, but we're not a salesperson. We're something different, at least in their minds, even though it is still sales, but still, you get my point, I hope. So we are the prize. And so when we give a time specifically, like whatever the best time is for you, you're setting up that status. Because sometimes we'll go into and I fall into this too. It's just like, okay, what's a good time for me to come by to your house and talk about it? Like, well, let's see, where I'm basically saying I have nothing else going on in my life. We're just gonna go on your schedule. Whatever you need, I'm here for you. Which sounds quote unquote nice, but it definitely puts you into lower status and they're not going to take you as seriously. While like, hey, I got at 5 o'clock tomorrow, so I have a slot open, which is like, oh, this person must be busy. And then let's just say they can't make 5 o'clock. I would just give them my next best block of time to come in and have a conversation with them. Okay, can't do it 5. Let me see. What if we did what about 7 p.m. that same night? Or what about tomorrow at 5? Or the next day after 5? Whatever the next time slot is. And then you might want to ask them about what is your work schedule like? Okay, cool. So how about this? And that's okay. Like I think I might be able to get a time here, or like I might be able to work in a spot there, so on, or whatever it is, right? So once we get them a time, we have a time kind of slotted in, right? We want to make sure that all the decision makers are there. That's what this part is. Okay, Bob. And if you're anything like me, I always I always want to get my wife involved, or wherever your other half is. I always like to get my life partner involved. For decisions like this, who else would be involved in making the final decision? Because sometimes I've seen scenarios where it's like this couple bought a house and yet they bought a house, but that same house was partnered with their cousins. So there was like another set of couple I didn't even know about until I asked that question. Like, oh, do they own it too, or do you just you just want their opinion on this stuff or whatever? Yeah, because I tell you what, once you start the negotiations and you go over finding out everything that they need, I promise you that person is not going to carry over the same message, the same meaning as well as you will, because they're just doing it secondhand and like, yeah, I think it might be okay, you know. And as far as like when saying things like if you are anything like me, we always want to leave an escape route for the pride, so it doesn't so the pride doesn't get damaged. It's ego, it's silly, yes, 100%. But people have pride, especially men. I'm just like, no, I'm the man of the house. I can do this, and that's, you know, if they have that relationship and the wife's like, yeah, you do whatever you think, honey, then maybe that might be the case. But usually you want to have, that's why I say stuff like this. Like if you're anything like me, I would always have to have my wife with me when involved in big decisions like this. Who else would be involved? So that gets that whole anyone else involved in, and you want them there at that appointment. I've had it where like probates when someone passes away, and I just where there's like 5 different heirs, and probates there's always an aunt, a cousin, a sister, a brother that feels like they deserve more than everyone else, even though they haven't done anything. It's like almost every single time there's someone like that you got to deal with. So, and I've had that person just spearhead and just destroy the deal because they could, and they're just being jerks, right? I mean, it's sad, but that happens quite a bit more often than I care to admit. So, like having that person on the phone, even if if I'm physically there, um, sometimes like, well, can we call that person right now, or can we call your wife right now and put her on speaker, then she can kind of hear what we're talking about. That's what you want to do. That is a phenomenal way to do it, right? So I think that was the best scenario works for me. Is getting you want them to get on the phone, okay? Um, great. Can we make sure that they are there too? Yes. Okay. Great. I will see you then. Rephrase the date and time. Right now, like we have everything we need. We set that appointment. And also you want to reconfirm the address because that whatever list we have, we might have something there. Okay. Or maybe a different address that they're thinking, and so you just want to make sure that you know where you're going and the address of the property. I had someone that set the appointment and everything. I was like, okay, great. What was the address of the property? Oh, well, I didn't. Well, I called it this one, but we didn't. It's like, did they confirm that was the address that what looking to sell, or that they even are even involved with? Like, no. Like, okay, well, this is gonna be interesting because then you do a deal analysis and maybe not even nothing to do with what they're talking about. Okay. Okay. Where the price? Yep. Perfect. Okay, nice. All right. Yeah, I got to speed this up here. All right. Perfect. So now we set the appointment. Anything beyond this point, it's just gravy. You can, if you want to end the call, that's fine. If you want to get more information, this is all just gravy, cherry on the top type stuff. But you want to make sure you get that appointment set before you do anything else, because you can talk yourself out of a deal. I've had and seen where the first part we like, hey, do you want to talk about selling your house? Actually, I do want to talk about selling my house. Oh, great. Let me ask you all these questions. Hey, what kind of condition is the property in? What blah 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 blah. And they're like, I gotta go, man. I don't have time for this. I gotta run. So one, you can talk yourself out of a deal, out of an appointment very, very easily. So at the very least, I have it. The appointment is set. We're ready to go. And then the last bit of questions is just gathering some information. Okay. And if they have to run or whatever, okay, great. I'll see you tomorrow on Tuesday or tomorrow at X time. So this stuff is just gravy. Okay. Um, so finding out how much, so there's 3 things we want to find out. The biggest one is the why, and also like how much they want to sell the property for, which is good. You probably want to get that out of them. And how soon. So if you find out those 3 things, you're golden. Were you able to, if we were able to give you what you needed to sell, now this difference between needed or need to sell, I guess that's the correct grammar way to say it. That is need is different. Like I need a car to get me point A and point B. It could be an old beater and be fine, but I want a Camaro, I want a Tesla, or you know what I mean? That's the difference. They want to sell their house for 200,000, but all they really need to do is sell it for 300. What do you need to sell it for? And how soon do you need to close? So find out that one question right there will give you both those answers, right? And whatever they say, you rephrase it. The goal is to get them to say that's right. Then ask the next question. Um, how much are you going to offer me? So this is kind of an objection because that may be something they pop in very at the beginning or whatever. They want an offer right then and there. And someone's like really adamant about getting an offer right then and there. I don't really take them super serious, to be honest. Because yeah, you'll get tire kickers. And it's okay to set the appointment with these people because you need the practice. It's okay. This is a great question. In order to give you a fair market offer, my partner and I would need to walk through the property and check the condition. Once we've seen it, then we'll be able to give you a fair market offer at the same appointment. Like, I would love to give you an offer right now, but the thing is the big factor is figuring out the valuation is the condition, because a property that are the exact same floor plans you're built and the ones in a better condition than the other will sell for different prices. You can go as detailed as little as you want on that point, right? And then you reiterate, if they ask that, then you can, like, would tomorrow at 5 work or 8? Another binary. This is kind of more an objection. You can kind of plug it in anywhere. Another last thing I want to talk about here is, so wrong numbers, and this is also this is a technique. It's called "I'm leaving here with something." So if there's a Denzel Washington meme, and it's like, where I'm leaving here with something, because he didn't get the Oscars at one Oscar event, and he was nominated, but he saw a big old platter of meat that they were given to that people were eating from, and so he said, I'm leaving here with something. I'm from the way, and so he took that big old platter of meat and went home with it. So this is our mindset. So, like, I the mindset I want to be in is, like, I want to leave with something. So if you don't want to sell your house to me, okay, that's fine. Do you know anyone else that might be looking to sell? Because we offer a referral fee of $3,000 to $5,000 depending on the deal once we close. If you got $5,000 in the next 7 days, would that be helpful? And I tell you what, like, wholesaling, if I'm making $15,000 in wholesale, $20,000 in the wholesale, I will pay $3,000 to $5,000 infinity times to have infinity. Every time I did that and I got $15,000, like, on the minimum, I would do that infinity times. Like, nothing would stop me. So, and you only pay them if you get paid. So you're not, like, having to shell out money. And just make sure that's clear, though. Like, at closing, once we close, then we pay the anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 in referral fee. This will get their whole countenance will change once they hear this, like most of them. And if you want to say, if I can get you five big ones in the next week, that's like, oh wow, that's soon, huh? Oh, and, like, yeah, we can jump in a 3-way call with them. It's amazing. So asking if they know someone that's looking to sell, offer their referral program, and let's just say this, they tell me no. Okay, great. Those of us that part are not, like, learning about real estate. Like, they have an affiliate program, so if someone buys the education, then we get paid a commission as well. So this is another way. Like, I could pull leads. I pull leads this way as well. Like, because have you ever thought about getting involved in real estate? Well, actually, I have. Okay. Oh, great. Well, we do a workshop this Thursday night. If you want to give me your address, I'm more than happy to, or not address. Give me your email. I'll send you the invitation. Done. And this is I'm leaving here with something works for wrong numbers. Like, I've bought a house, multiple houses off of wrong numbers. So this is like a forever thing. Okay, so we're gonna break up. Only 15 minutes like, I always do this. Lack of time awareness sometimes. But so we got 15 minutes. Does anybody have any questions before we break up? Let me look at before we break up. It's you, it's not me. Oh wait, no, it's me, it's not you. How do you break up again? Okay. Any questions so far? What we talked about the script. Okay. All right, I'm going to break us into rooms. And then you're just going to take turns to go over the script, check the chat for the link for the script if you don't have it already. Okay. And you guys are going to just take turns, go back and forth. You'll probably be able to do it like once or maybe twice on both ways, depending on how fast you guys go. Okay, so breakout rooms, there it is. Sign manually. So we have, okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, that works. Oh, Jason's here. Mm, okay. Just in case. Okay. And Janet Rufus. Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna open the rooms. You've been assigned a room, and so the person that's there, just jump in. If they don't join, just give them a minute. We'll get it joined. But you should get a little pop-up inviting you to go to room, and I'll probably come in each of your rooms and just to listen and maybe give you a couple pointers or whatever. Yeah. So then, see if we can get that in there. And all of you should get like a little. Come on. I see. A little option to hit to go into the room. Let me know if you're having some challenges if you're not seeing it. Oh, she jumped out. Well then. And I'm muted. It gives them a 60-second timer, so in the next 30 seconds, so that everyone should pop back in. Or is it just... Yeah, Janet and Rufus are still chatting. Oh, Olivia's still in there too. Hey, Janet.
Hey,
How did it go with your guys? I know it wasn't a ton of time, but how did it go with your practice run?
it was good. It was
Yeah,
good.
good.
Yeah, that was
Did
good to do practice run.
were you the seller? Did you guys do back and forth, both of you, or was only one of you were able to do?
Yeah, we were able to do both of us, so that worked out
Nice,
good.
nice. So how did that go? How do you guys feel? How do you feel? Was this helpful? Like going over? I know we didn't leave a ton of time for it, but was that a helpful thing?
Very glad we did that together because I kind of forgot the second page and then went over it the second time. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm glad I wasn't on with an actual seller.
Right.
So yeah, well, that was good.
What about you, Rufus? What's your feelings on it, man?
Well, kind of nervous. I mean, it's the first time.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, it's a whole new journey for me,
yeah.
and yeah. I mean, I've been watching YouTube videos and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
of course, watch some of your videos at Mitch and Maley's,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and so I mean, a lot of videos to watch. My head is gonna explode soon.
Sure.
Yeah.
No,
So,
I'm
yeah.
right there with you, man. Totally. Like, yeah. The cool thing, honestly, I feel people will learn 10 times more if instead of watching an hour worth of video about how to
Mhm.
make a phone call. Once you get the basics, like you have to have some basics down, right? But once you get the basics down, you're going to learn 10 times more on one call, and it maybe never went as well as you hope, but at one call, you will learn so much more than watching 3 hours of videos about making calls. Like that's just what, and that's where I think a lot of people fail because they're where we fall into that ever ending. And again, like you need your basics. There's a season of learning. That's true. But I think actually just doing it and doing practice runs like this too, like the more it's so much, it gets in your head so much more, right? Or
Yeah.
Yeah,
yep,
I heard Garrett's
exactly. Yep.
presentation several times and it's so awesome and you're always fired up. You're like, let's go. But then you
Yeah.
don't do it. Like you got to take action. So once we did the
Yeah.
extravaganza before and actually took that action, it was like so powerful.
Right. And then when you're ready to do it on your own or next time, you're not as nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Probably still nervous, but that's okay. But the level, like really, because you feel more comfortable, like you've kind of practiced already. Yeah. And I love what Aubrey says here. It says you've gotten to be bad at something before you're good. I mean, that's slam dunk, nail in the head, home run right there. So me and Aubrey did a quick run. I was the seller. She was the investor, and she did really good, really good. I worked with Aubrey before, and she's done cold calling for us as a partnership, and her and
Yeah.
Nate are just really good. So using the stammering old man a little or stammering old lady in her case is always good. So like it was. So tell me a little bit, Aubrey, on because something we didn't talk a ton about stammering old man about you, but throwing those ums in there and not being super polished is what you want. You don't want to be polished on these calls. So Aubrey, you mentioned something like it was hard for you because you were like a receptionist and then you still had to kind of put so give like 10 seconds of that or just your thoughts on that and have you seen because I know you've made calls as in your receptionist voice and also as stammering old lady. What do you have you noticing difference or what? Give me some thoughts if you don't mind.
Yeah, I don't mind at all. So yeah, it was weird because being a receptionist, I have to be deliberate and careful about not saying and so I had to purposely think, oh, I need to throw in an here. And so
Yeah.
that was like unnatural, but it sounds more natural. It sounds like a real conversation with people instead of just like, this is my job, this is what I do, I'm just here to take advantage. And so, yeah, it just makes you more relatable, I think. And
Yeah.
doing cold calls and doing that, it goes a lot better and smoother. And then it does feel more natural. Like, you almost forget that you are working because you start relating with people and hearing their stories, and it becomes a really good, positive experience.
Yeah. Well, and it's what I really like what she did, guys, is like she did, like, me and my husband are looking to buy but she also said, like, me, my husband, and my two kids are looking to buy a place in the neighborhood. Like, as the person, as the seller or potential seller, like, oh, okay, she's not placed in the box of like a cold caller of what, because people cold call you, hey, you want to buy blah blah blah. Like, no, thank you, get out of here. I instantly put her in a box where it's like, oh, you could be my neighbor, or I didn't know where to put her, so I listened more. Just communicating like that, and whenever they say, like, oh, well, so are you gonna flip this house? Like, yeah, I'm an investor. Yeah, exactly right. I'm not gonna. It's not for my personal use. Like, I will definitely, like, soon if they ask about it, like, 100%, like, yeah, of course, duh, of course. They don't say duh, but yeah, absolutely, yeah. This is not for my personal home, but my wife and I are still looking for this property in the neighborhood. Um, but it breaks through those walls and puts you in a spot in a higher status than a salesperson. So that makes a huge difference of just being the potential neighbor. You're not saying your neighbor, but just that opening line really breaks through more walls than believe it. And Aubrey did an amazing job, and just like, and it was just, and that's her. Like, yeah, that husband and I, and my two kids, and like, oh, like, that was like my first reaction. Oh, but if I'm on the phone as a seller, then, like, that's great. And the beauty about, I think, for the most part, the worst, because most people have fears, and I'll cut this here in a second, because we're already like 6 minutes over. But for the most part, people, like, the worst you really get 99% of the time is just annoyed people. I rarely would ever get, like, yelled at or anything like that. Also, whatever that's in your head, if that may be the case. But really, people, I mean, like, that's the worst case. Like, but most people generally are polite and nice. They may want to get you off the phone, but they're not going to be complete a-holes. Some people will, but not rarity. It's a rarity. It really is. Like, I've called hundreds of people and not get one a-hole, and a whole plethora of maybe annoyed, but and a whole lot, even more, of just really nice people and just weren't interested, and that's okay too, right? So awesome. Okay, sweet, guys. And I did get the call recordings up, so if you go in the back office, it'll show the sorry, I mean, it'll show the recordings in there. So in the school back office, in the classroom tab. So okay, awesome, guys. Well, appreciate it, and this will be up hopefully later today, providing my Wi-Fi for my room works. But it's been great so far for this hour, so that's awesome. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all, and let's keep killing it. Okay. All right. See you guys.
Bye. See ya.
Bye, guys.